stop living someone else's story. We've heard that over and over and over again. And I think we kind of know that we are living somebody else's story. So today, the idea here is to stop living someone else's story. And I'm going to get into how we start creating our own reality. So the goal here in a soul-led life is to live with so much aliveness and curiosity and that juiciness that makes us feel so alive, and to have the capacity and the courage to go there, because not many people have the courage to go there, which I understand that. I mean, there's so much conditioning going on out there. So it is what calls us, what lights us up, and trusting that aliveness that you can bring to the table and just shine your freaking light. And then you basically give everybody permission to do the same. And it's not easy to be able to stand in your aliveness, to bring that with your clients, to bring that into your relationships and just live from that space, because there's just so much of a smackdown on that. It makes people feel uncomfortable. And I wanted to talk about that today. So before I get carried away, I'm Heather, and I'm here to awaken you to your power so that you can live the life that you have dreamed of. And you know that there's potential in your belly there somewhere, but I'm here to awaken that potential within you and bring that forward in life and your clients and your relation, everything. And yeah, I'm super excited about this. And I just really wanted to emphasize trusting your GPS, trusting your light, trusting that knowing, and have that courage to be alive. There's not many of us that can actually say that. And I always like to call it like magic. It's just pure magic when you experience it and you can take it and you can like see magic in a leaf blowing in the wind, like just everyday simple moments. It's unbelievable what is available for us. There's so much magic and abundance, and I could just go on a tangent just about that. Like every day when I do my best to go for a walk every day, and there's just like every little thing is just like, wow. Birds, everything. So before, like I said, don't want to go on a tangent. I want to get into, I have 5 things that keep us away from living in our aliveness and our magic. And I want to talk about how do we start creating our own reality. So let's get into this. All right. So the first one I want to talk about is releasing the illusion of the shoulds. To me, when somebody says you should do something, it's like a ribbon and somebody else's life, and they're giving you that. It's like, you need to live my life so that I will accept you. And it tells us how we should think, how we should dress, how we should behave, what we need to achieve. This is a fancy way of saying you need to live somebody else's life. And how often does that work for us? Like, how many times have you said to, or have you been told that, oh, you need to get like a degree so that you can, have this life. You should get a degree. I've heard that story so many times. And getting a degree is like complete BS. I have like 3 freaking diplomas, and it means nothing. It absolutely means nothing. And I spent like a long time, like 4 years of my life for two of them. And it's insane. I don't even use them. I mean, I do, but not in the sense that is expected of me. So I used to actually, tell my stepsons that I actually got them one time. And I kind of wish that I knew what I know now. Like if I could tell my younger self this, I said to them one day, because I felt at that time that education was really important. And back then it was. I mean, we're talking maybe 15 years ago, back when things were a little different. I said to them, oh, you see that really nice red truck over there? And they're like, yeah. I said, you want to know how you get it? And they're like, well, yeah. Go to school. And it's so funny when you look back on yourself and the things that you tell yourself. That is the imprint from our generations before us that we mimic, and then we just repeat it back out there. And I was like, oh man, if I'd have known now what I know then, oh my goodness. So shoulds are your first clue that you're not creating your own reality. You're living somebody else's life when you hear that, or you feel that, or you tell yourself that. The question is that we need to ask here is, what do you want? Not what somebody else's want, what they want for you. That should is them. But what do you want? That's the question here. This will help you rewrite that story of the should. And it's, believe me, it's helpful. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is embracing radical self-acceptance. Have you ever been told you're too much or you're too loud? In my case, I was too shy, I was too quiet. And if you've listened to any of my other videos, you'll understand that I was pretty quiet. I was very shy. I didn't dare say anything because of the environment I grew up in was quite hostile. So it's getting past these barriers. And I am quiet. I am a very quiet person, but there's a time and a place. I'm not shy by any stretch of the imagination. I am more than willing to go for a walk by myself, and I will strike up conversations with people. If I see them comment or if they walk by me, I just immediately talk with them. If I see somebody I want to talk to, I just go right up to them and talk to them. And I talk to people in stores and grocery stores. Is that too much? Or am I like crossing the, you're too quiet, you know, like it comes down to accepting yourself, exactly who you are. If you feel like you're too much, that's somebody else's story. Just recognize that. It's somebody else's story. When somebody said that I was too quiet, yes, I am a quiet person, but I'm not shy. So that's definitely something to consider. There's also the other one too of not being enough. I remember that, like, that was one of my stories. And it was just incredible how that held me back. And then when I realized, like, it's so funny because, like, I remember in high school, this example is coming to mind. I remember in high school, I was like one of the whatever kids that go to those other like easier classes. And when I learned, like, I math was not my thing. It was not my thing. I didn't get it, didn't want to know it. I just thought I was too stupid to do it, to be honest with you. So when I went back and I did my high school upgrading, it turns out I actually really freaking love math. You know what? I would hit the honor roll in math. Like, so when you have the feeling when people tell you, oh, you're just like, you're not smart enough to do this, you're not this and you're not that. And then you realize, well, hell yeah, I actually am. Like, shut the front door. That is busting that not good enough thing. Like, believe me, you are good enough. Just trust me on that. If you don't trust yourself, take my faith in you and my trust in you. You are good enough. And I wanted to add here the statement to repeat to yourself, I am worthy just as I am. I am worthy. Just believe it. Learn to believe that you are worthy. The next thing I have here is break free from the inner critic. Ugh. I know I've talked about the inner critic a few times on my channel, that I'm not good enough, that negative self-talk, or you're too shy, just, you know, all that stuff I just talked about. Like, the critic will come up and it will start gnawing on you and start talking in your ear and tell you horrible things, and you'll believe it. Why do we believe the inner critic? Like, what does this critic know about us? Nothing. It doesn't know what's in our heart, but yet we give it such credence. We take it for face value that, oh yeah, you're right. I'm not even going to do that. We need to understand what's happening when it's actually happening and realize that this thing is just generating negative feelings so that you harbor them and keep going them and then perpetuate that negative feeling everywhere. Whereas when you want to feel alive, that's your superpower. you can feel that way. I mean, I have the inner critic in my head all the time, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. And then I just go about my day. I just like, whatever, I dismiss it because I know my mind is like a really, really sharp tool. It's a beautiful instrument. It serves me well, but I have to really monitor how my thinking is going, how I'm feeling, and just pay attention all the time, because that inner critic will run away with it and just it'll make a disaster rather than creating like opportunities and magic and surprises. Like, who doesn't love surprises? I love kind of living the unexpected. You just never know where things are going to come out of when you actually live in this aliveness. I mean, your clients will feel it, and everything, like the universe will feel your aliveness just as much as it'll feel your inner critic. So either way, you are the point of the power where when you create your negative self-talk, you're going to see that. And when you create your aliveness and your magic and your abundance within, believe me, it's going to be felt, and there's going to be stuff that comes to you that's just going to blow your mind. It's going to be like magic and opportunities, and things shift so easily, like you won't even believe it. Okay, I'm pretty excited about this one today, apparently. The next point I have here is live by your own GPS. Now, what do I mean by GPS? I'm talking about your intuitive instincts. And all of this stuff that I had talked about, like the shoulds and you're too much and the inner critic, dampens your inner GPS, your intuitive guidance system, your deep sense of knowing. And we have been conditioned away from that. The conditioning is favoring the logic mind, whereas I'm talking about the depth of you, the trusting what's in your bones and knowing. And if you're as sensitive as like I am, you know the second you walk into a room, something's up, or, ooh, I need to talk to that person. But if you disregard that, what are you asking for here? Like, if you disregard that there was just an argument in the room and things are about to get ugly, you're going to be involved in an ugly situation. Or that person that you see that you need to go and it's like a light shining on their head that you need to go and talk to them. If you let everybody else's junk get in the way and you don't go talk to that person, you don't know what that's going to mean. If you just disregard what your instinct says, that person could bring you something so freaking magical. It could be like this dream job. Maybe it's, who knows? Like, I don't know. You just don't know, right? So when you live in the aliveness and the joy and magic of everything, it is living in the unknown because you don't know what's coming, but there's that deep level of trust there that you will be perfectly fine. And when you live with the, let's say, the inner critic or somebody else's life, you're going to be too afraid to step outside of that and actually create your own life, and you're going to live somebody else's life. And this is just my perspective and my experience, because I did the shoulds. I did what everybody else in my family said to do. And in the end, I wasn't happy. 3 degrees later, or basically 3 degrees later, I'm not any further ahead. I used to beat myself up for it all the time, that I wasn't any further ahead. You know, you're this old and you haven't accomplished this and yada, yada, yada. But I forgot about all of that. I live as much as possible from the place of aliveness. So understanding your own GPS is key here. This is going to be your guidance system, and the rest of society doesn't operate this way. And it's a different way of operating, and people may think you're weird, but who cares, right? I don't care if people think I'm weird. I mean, if I'm out walking the grocery store, shopping, mall, wherever, if I see that there's somebody that I need to talk to, I will go right to them. And fear would have me doing otherwise. Oh, that person could be dangerous. Oh, blah, blah, blah. So I do not live by that. So how do we attain this GPS thing? I strongly recommend meditation, clearing out other people's thoughts and stuff like that, and just figuring out how you really feel. That's super, super, super important, is how are you feeling? What do you feel? And sometimes you may find numbness in your body, and that's okay too. You found something and you got something to work with. Our bodies are magic. They will always give us something to work with. And the question you need to ask yourself here is, what do you truly desire? I actually went through the whole process of writing my own book of my desires. And every day I would write, what do I desire? What does my heart really want today? And that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. All right. So the next one I have for you today is transforming fear into power. This has been kind of my magic spot. You know, I've done all of that stuff and now I'm like, okay, so I'm afraid of something, but I don't see it as a speed bump and go, oh shit, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I go like a recent one. I knew it was there. And so I kind of waited till I was a little bit more ready to face it. But I view my fears and my, I guess, shadows as an opportunity to be catalyzed into my soul. So I don't see challenges as how other people do it, where they just back away and say, no, I can't do it. No, I can't. I go, okay, let's do this. How am I going to do this? It may take me a couple of days. It may take me a month. It may take me 6 months to kind of figure out how to navigate, to get through this challenge. But I find a way, because I know it's like you're going on a treasure hunt. You're like a mermaid and you're just like down to the bottom of the ocean and you found this like big yucky ball and you're like, oh, what's this? That's the opportunity of growth. And so I will sit with it and I will find a way and I will feel it. And I will go through the whole thing and I will find the gold. So I don't view challenges or fear as anything to fear. I use it as an opportunity for growth. So, and it is also my opportunity to reclaim my youth. Sorry, I had a thought when I was a child that there was an event that had happened and I believe that was the moment that I completely shut down. I was not available for anything and I was done and completely frozen. So it's taken me a long time to kind of come out of that. And I don't even remember the incident. I just remember a few things about it. So it was pretty significant, pretty traumatic. Whoops. And I still have turned that's a work in progress. I turned that into gold. And being able to trust that I can open my heart and I can be open and I can be available. It's a big deal, but it's all part of reclaiming my power. When you sense the fear or when you're triggered or anything like that, just know this is your sign, your gateway to go into it and go past it. We have to go through it in order to gain the wisdom and go beyond the ordinary into the extraordinary. And it is also here that we shed expectations and begin a new adventure. Who doesn't love an adventure? Like if you love traveling as much as I do, this is still just as much fun as the adventure of travel. So this is where we begin to focus on us, you, me, our own personal journey. What makes us happy? What do we desire? And every step that we take towards our fear and go through it and see that, oh, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Why was my inner critic making this all up to be such a big hoopla when it was, sometimes it could be big, sometimes it could be little, and sometimes it's nothing. But when we go past this, this is where the magic is. And this is where you live with one step towards your empowerment, claiming your power, living in your power. And it's super exciting. I freaking love it. This is why I'm talking about this on my channel, is because when you take that step, the first step, it leads to another and another and another. And I can tell you this year, I have trusted so much. I've been open so much. And this year has been like unbelievably amazing and full of unexpected surprises. And I don't even know how to describe it, but it's because I'm teaching myself to live in my aliveness, to drop the shoulds, to drop the inner critic, and just, what does Heather want? What do I want? What does my heart desire? And I'm here to teach you the same thing. I could talk all day about this. I'm super excited about this because this is where the juice is. This is the squeeze. Being in the squeeze and finding that juice, the elixir of life, is what it's all about for me. And I wanted to thank you for all of my subscribers. You guys are amazing. Welcome to all the new ones. I'm just tickled to death. So the aliveness, that's the juice. It's just, yeah, it's so exciting. I can't help myself. So I will see you again, and thank you so much for being here.